Welcome to another episode of Gridiron Headliners. I'm your host, Arush, and I'm with.
I'm Deepak.
I'm Rohit.
I'm Aditya.
So today we are introducing another special guest, Adidash. He is another sports fan, and we're lucky to have him on our podcast.
Thank you for having me on your podcast. And go Patrick Mahomes. I hope the Chiefs win another Super Bowl, even though I'm not a Chiefs fan. There you go.
Yeah, so that's a great segue into our topic today. So as you guys know, Patrick Mahomes signed the biggest contract in NFL history for a quarterback, a 10-year deal worth up to $503 million. So what does this mean for the Chiefs going forward? Adi, what's your take on this?
I just feel like when you have someone like Patrick Mahomes, it's like a no-brainer to lock him up. It doesn't matter if it's $503 million. The point is, like, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce are all on long-term deals. So at least for the next 2 to 3 years, you still have your main like offensive pieces. And the good thing about the Chiefs, in my opinion, are that they draft really well. Like, not only that Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill play a big role, like wide receivers like Demarcus Robinson, even Byron Pringle, like they're good wide receivers that the Chiefs can draft and like use them in their system. And if you have a QB like Patrick Mahomes, any wide receiver becomes like into a threat. If he's like a speedster like Tyreek Hill, or if it's like a precise route runner like Travis Kelce, either or Patrick Mahomes is gonna find them and make them look great. Like, I understand that you could say vice versa, like the Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill make Patrick Mahomes like great because he has someone to throw to. But I mean, it's undeniable what Patrick Mahomes has done for the last 2 seasons, and I feel like the deal is like really worth
it. Yeah, I agree with that. But I'm also concerned of the defensive side of the ball. Because when you think about it, Chris Jones, the Chiefs just franchise tagged him. And Chris Jones made like 2 great plays in the Super Bowl. He batted down Jimmy's balls. So, like, he batted down Jimmy's passes. So,
No, just go. Keep going. Continue. What are you saying?
Okay, so anyways, he's franchise tagged. So then they will have to let him go because of cap reasons. And also other players on their defense like Tyrann Mathieu and Bashaud Breeland, they'll have to let them go because they won't have enough money to sign them to long-term deals.
To Arush's point, I really don't think the Chiefs' defense is as important as their offense. If we saw last year's playoffs, the Texans were up 24-0, and the Chiefs finished with 51 points. So I think that the Mahomes is talented enough to the point where even if they have a horrible defense, he can single-handedly just flip a game to the Chiefs' side. And so as long as the Chiefs have Mahomes and have Andy Reid, I think they'll be contenders. So, yeah, this is the right thing for the Chiefs to do.
Yeah,
I mean, you also have to have like a decent defense. You can't just have like a terrible defense with 1 star. You have to have like at least 1 star in the defense.
Yeah,
I agree with that. But yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Adi because, like, if you saw what Alex Smith did in the same offense, he was not Patrick Mahomes, right? I mean, Alex Smith had like Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and like all those weapons, and Andy Reid, but he still wasn't able to replicate the same success that Patrick Mahomes had. And the thing is, I think it's pretty team friendly for the Chiefs because I think over the next 6 years, he has an average salary of $30 million, and that's only like a couple more million than Jared Goff and Carson Wentz. And I think we can all agree that Patrick Mahomes is way better than those 2 players.
Yeah.
So
of course.
For the next half decade, I think they got a good deal on the Chiefs end.
I mean, look, you have to lock up Mahomes. I mean, you have to pay him. Like, this is the only deal. He's not going to take less than this. He wants to be the highest paid, record breaking. So this had to happen. And he would have gone somewhere else. And the Chiefs can't risk that. They have
possibly could be the greatest quarterback of all time. We'll see in the next 10 years. So I think they had to do this. If they didn't do this, and they'd be fools. They can't just let Mahomes slide. So they have to do whatever it takes to sign him and keep him. So.
Yeah, back to Adi's point about drafting, I think the Chiefs do draft really well. Like, if we compare this to the Aaron Rodgers situation a few years back when he signed like a mega deal, the Packers didn't really do that much to draft good supporting cast around him. Like, Aaron Rodgers has 0 touchdown passes to first round picks, so that's kind of bad. And I think the Chiefs, they drafted like a running back like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I think he'll add some like versatility into their offensive scheme, and I'm actually really excited to watch them play for the next 5, 6, 10 years. Mahomes play for like next 10 years.
Yeah, I feel like just adding on to that, the whole like point about the defense, like even though Mahomes will like Aditya said, Mahomes is probably gonna make around an average like around 30 mil for the next 3 to 4 years. Like I also feel like the Chiefs defense is made out of a lot of rookies that play that like they don't play like rookies. Like most of the contracts, like if you see they're still on their rookie deals. So that just goes to show that they can win a Super Bowl with a bunch of like second or third year players on the defensive end with like Tyrann Mathieu and Chris Jones leading them. Like that just like I mean I'm pretty sure like 4 or 5 years down the line, they'll be able to get like another Tyrann Mathieu like player, another Chris Jones like player, and again surround them with like a bunch of young, hungry like defensive players who could make a difference. Like if Patrick Mahomes could lead them to the Super Bowl this year, and I think this year, and I'm pretty sure this year everyone thought the Ravens had the best chance of going to the Super Bowl, then I'm 100% sure like going on for the next 10 years, the Chiefs probably can make around 3 to 4 Super Bowls. Like, I'm not even saying win them, just getting to the Super Bowl. And on top of that, everyone in Kansas City loves Patrick Mahomes. So they're pretty much going to, for the next 10 years, sell out their arena for every single home game. So just like the incentive of giving him a max, like a gigantic max, is like smart for even the Chiefs franchise.
Yeah, I mean, I think like when you start winning more and more, players are gonna want to come to Kansas City just to play with Mahomes, just to like chase Super Bowls. That's what kind of happened in New England, like Darrelle Revis when he signed in like 2014. So good players would want to come to Kansas City if they keep making Super Bowls at like a lower price than the market demands. So in that sense, I think Kansas City can, if they can still continually like go to the playoffs, make the championship game, and make a couple of Super Bowls, I think they can still maintain their core and add on extra veterans.
Yeah, we can already see that happening with like Sammy Watkins. Like he just released a statement saying that, I don't really want the money. I just want to play with Mahomes and win Super Bowls. So we can already see that happening.
To Adi's point about the defense, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year with I think the 26th ranked run defense, and they were down in most games they played with. So it's not like the Chiefs had a really strong defense that many offenses fear, right? So if they can win a Super Bowl against the Niners, who had a pretty solid offense, and they can walk through the AFC, scoring 51 points and everyone, I don't really think the defense matters that much. Mahomes can just make do with what he has, and so as long as the coaching stays the same, I think Chiefs are going to dominate the AFC for the next decade.
Yeah, but credit to the Chiefs defense. They played pretty well in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
They're locked down.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But my point was that they're not like an elite top defense.
For sure.
Yeah, almost like when you look at the whole Tom Brady situation with New England, like Tom Brady is a great quarterback, but also Bill Belichick like puts him in really good situations. Like I'm pretty sure everyone talks about it, and some people use Bill Belichick as a way to take away from Tom Brady's like greatness, pretty much like, oh, Tom Brady's not the GOAT because he has Bill Belichick. But the fact is, like, both of them are able to find ways to be successful together. And that's what I feel like Patrick Mahomes with Andy Reid is probably the most perfect combination. So, like, looking at it, if Andy Reid's still the coach of the Chiefs the next, like, 5 to 6 years, I don't see how the Chiefs don't make another Super Bowl.
All right.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
like I would rank Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes as the best head coach and quarterback duo right now in the NFL.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
How many Super Bowls do you think he'll win over his career?
I'd say at least three. At least three.
Two more.
I
Come
think he has one and he's 24. The thing about even Brady, I think won his last 3 Super Bowls in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
By the time this contract will be over, he'll probably be 35, 36-ish. So I'll probably say like within the duration of this contract, he'll probably win three more, and then after his contract's over, yeah, I think he'll.
Yeah.
I think for the next 10 years, he'll probably win 3 more,
Yeah.
and then after that, I can really see them like after that. I feel like Patrick Mahomes will probably take a cheaper deal, but he'll still stay with Kansas City. So maybe he might end up with 5 or 6. I hope he ends up at 6 because I feel like it makes it more interesting with the whole Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes debate.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Somehow I think he'll win like maybe 1 or 2. The thing is, the AFC is getting better. Like Lamar Jackson is like taking the next step. Lamar Jackson will take the next step in terms of tackles.
No. I actually agree with that.
Yeah,
the Ravens
same.
did a good job at the draft. And last year, they were 14-2 last year, right?
Who's another threat? Just the Ravens, that's it.
But that itself is enough to. Yeah.
Do you think like?
I feel like. Yeah.
Wait. Do you think like? Okay, so Mahomes got his contract. It was like a really big number. Do you think Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson, when they end their contracts, what do you think their salary is going to look like? Are they going to demand the same thing?
More, but it's not going to be like as much as Mahomes because you know what? I mean, Lamar didn't win a Super Bowl. Maybe if Lamar wins Super Bowl next year, he's going to get paid equally, if not more.
You still have to lock up your franchise quarterback, even if they haven't, won you a Super Bowl yet. So how the Seahawks locked up Wilson, even though they haven't really replicated that success. The Texans still need to lock up Watson if that means paying him as much as Mahomes got or whatever it is, because he's literally the face of that franchise now.
I'm actually worried about the Texans, with their management, because Bill O'Brien does not.
Dude, they're doing something sketchy, bro.
So yeah. Okay.
I feel like if you're Lamar Jackson, I don't think you'll get a 10-year, $503 million contract, but I don't think the money is the I don't think the problem is the money. Like for Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, I feel like the Chiefs are confident enough to give Patrick Mahomes 10 years. That's probably the biggest key.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, if you get like $50 million a year, like I can see Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson signing for $300 million, a $300 million contract, but it would probably be for like a lesser time period, probably like 6 or 7 years. So that comes to be the per year value. It's the same as Patrick Mahomes, maybe less than Patrick Mahomes, but just in terms of the years, I don't think the Chiefs, I don't think the Ravens or the Texans are willing to like lock up Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson as long as the Chiefs are willing to lock up Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now with our I guess that concludes our topic on Patrick Mahomes. So now we'll move on to Dak Prescott. So he gets a lot of hate from the media, because everyone says, he's overrated. He can't really, he's not really a great quarterback, not an elite quarterback. So I guess the question is, where do you rank Dak and why?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I think I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm not like biased. Like I feel like Dak is a good QB. Yeah, of course he hasn't had like playoff success wise, he hasn't had any. But just like when you look at his numbers, like in general, like I know a lot of people say that he played against the Redskins and the Giants last year, so a lot of in terms of like the division rivalry, the numbers are like really like inflated. But I feel like Dak, you can place Dak anywhere between like the 8th best quarterback in the game and the 12th best quarterback in the game. Like anywhere in that range, because you have Patrick Mahomes, who's 1, and then I personally put Russell Wilson as number 2. Like I feel like Russell Wilson's like easily would have been the league MVP 2 years ago if the Seahawks had a better defense. Like the Seahawks consistently have like a very crappy O-line every single year, but still Russell Wilson somehow manages to win like 11, 12 games every year. So I feel like Russell Wilson is definitely the second best quarterback in the game. Like he was just a plain winner. And also last year his deep balls became much better. So Russell Wilson at 2. I think Lamar Jackson at 3, and then Drew Brees probably at 4, and Aaron Rodgers at 5, Drew Brees at 4, Aaron at 5, and you could flip flop both of them. It just depends on. I felt like Drew Brees had a better season than Aaron Rodgers last year, so that's why I put him higher. So 4 and 5 there, and then it comes the Deshaun Watson and the Deshaun Watson, Tom Brady. They're 6 and 7. I feel like Carson Wentz gets injured more often than not. So I have Dak at 8, Carson at 9. But I'm completely fine if you put Carson at 8 because I feel like just when you talk about Dak, the one thing Dak does better than Carson Wentz is he's a better deep ball thrower, but Carson Wentz is a much more accurate quarterback. Like in terms of like he makes the right reads all the time. Like he's much better at making that perfect read. Like even last year, Cowboys ended up going 8-8, and everyone made fun of me. But I felt like the problem was like every single time Dak was pressured, he rushed it. Like sometimes he has like very capable receivers and Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper. But he keeps on like rushing it. So if Dak works on his pocket awareness, I feel like he'll be a much better quarterback. But I have him at 8. I have him at 8 right now, and then Carson at 9. And okay, I feel like a lot of people love Ryan Tannehill, but I don't like him as much. I don't know why. So I would probably put either Kirk Cousins or Matthew Stafford at 10. So I feel like Dak's around that 8 range, 8 to 12.
So I personally think that Carson Wentz is better than Prescott. Let me tell you why. Because they went the same record, but look at the offense. Let's compare the Eagles' offense. And let's compare the Cowboys' offense. Like obviously, like the Eagles have so much more weapons, right? And then they got it done. They made the playoffs. Cowboys had to sit out on January. So I mean that's why I give the Carson Wentz the edge on this one.
9 and 7 and 8 and 8.
It's not.
If is that really a difference? Like I just I don't understand why people like it. I understand. Okay, like it's fine to make fun of Dak, but like 9 and 7 and 8 and 8, I don't see the difference in that.
The difference is that Dak had so much weapons.
Yeah, exactly. The talent on his team.
But to be fair to Dak, he had Jason Garrett as his coach throughout the year.
True.
And so you can't really blame all of that on Dak.
Okay, let's see what happened with McCarthy.
So now with
we'll wait and see.
If you look at it this way as well, like Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott, they play in the same division, so they end up playing the Redskins twice and the Giants twice. But like if you look at their career, Dak has a higher completion percentage. Dak has more yards, but that's also because Carson Wentz has been injured more. Like I think Carson Wentz has 8 less games than Dak. But Dak has, I think, around 1,500, 1,600 yards more than Carson Wentz. Same amount of touchdowns. And their QBR rating, Dak has a 97, while Carson Wentz has a 92.7. Like, there's like a very distant... And I'm pretty sure a lot of people would say Dak is a better outside of pocket quarterback than Carson Wentz is, when Carson Wentz is better inside the pocket. So, like, to say that, and then you go and see the completion percentage, and you see that Dak almost has like a 2% higher completion percentage than Carson Wentz. Like, stats don't lie. Like, yeah, sure. Who's that receiver? Who's that receiver who drops a lot of catches on
Nelson Aguilar.
Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah, sure. Aguilar drops probably like 25 catches a year, but like it's still a 2% difference. Like,
you could also like attribute that to the fact that Carson Wentz is hurried on his throws because he got sacked way more than Dak last season. Dak got sacked 23 times because he has a great offensive line. The Cowboys' offensive line is great. And the Eagles, like Lane Johnson got injured, Brandon Brooks got injured. Like everyone, their whole offensive line was like the practice squad. So
that's
why.
But I mean, also like if you look at it, I understand that, but then if you look at their career, like I said, like Dak has played eight more games than Carson Wentz has, and Dak has gotten sacks 7 more times than Carson Wentz. So I mean, is it that big of a difference? Like I understand that Dak and Carson Wentz, it's like sure you can pick who you think is better, but is it that big of a difference? Like I feel like the media makes it seem like the difference is humongous, but then when you go on the rushing side, Dak Prescott has 21 rushing touchdowns, Carson Wentz has 3. Like I mean, like there's like a very visible difference between both the quarterbacks. Like in terms of just like one is they might you could say both of them are maybe Carson Wentz has like a little edge on Dak Prescott when it comes to passing, but then when it comes to rushing, Dak Prescott's just way better than Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Like if you had the next 10 years, who would you take as your quarterback? Dak Prescott or Carson Wentz?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, so the thing with that question is I think the Cowboys have a better team, so I feel like Dak will do better. But in terms of talent, like who's the better quarterback skill-wise, I would go Wentz.
But I mean,
Yeah.
it also matters.
I mean, like, if I was starting a franchise right now, I would pick Dak Prescott only because of injuries, though. Because like,
I can see that.
if I pick Dak, I know he's going to be available every game, and like, at least I know I know what I'm getting, right? And then if you pick Carson Wentz, there may be more talent or like that he grows into as he as he matures as a QB, but he's never really been healthy, right? So
yeah, I feel like Wentz is more of a high risk, high reward. He has a higher ceiling, but he just gets injured way too often.
Yeah, that's why I have Wentz ranked one spot above Dak. It's not the significance is not like it's not that significant. The difference between them is not that significant. But the thing is, Wentz has just like a better arm. He has also like great mobility too. Like he's like very evasive, and as Rohit said, he has a higher ceiling. So that's why I would rank him like a bit higher than Dak.
I have a question.
For sure. I feel like go ahead.
So now you said that he ranks between like I mean most people agree that he ranks between like 8, 10, maybe 12 in that range.
Yeah.
Do you think he deserves that top level QB money that he wants right now?
Oh hell no. He's drunk. I don't know why he keeps on asking for 35, 40 mil. Like he needs to calm down. I feel like the good thing is I hope we don't extend him this year, like right now, and we wait till 2020, the 2020 season, to see what really happens. Because a part of me feels like under Mike McCarthy, like Mike McCarthy was almost like a disciplinarian. Like he knew how to make Aaron Rodgers great, like in that system. Like he put people around Aaron Rodgers that made him better. So I just want to see how Dak Prescott responds to like a more tougher style of leadership in Mike McCarthy compared to Jason Garrett, who was like a horrible coach. So I just want to give him the year and see how it works out. And I honestly have a really good feeling about it. I feel like, I mean, Dak Prescott threw for around 4,900 yards last year. And yeah, some of those yards, came with some questionable teams, but I feel like there's a lot of potential in Dak Prescott. And here's a fun fact: Dak has played in 3 playoff games, while Carson has played in 1. So I mean, there's something to say about that. Okay, it has to do with staying injuries and everything, but I'm still gonna hold it against.
Wait, in the one he played, didn't he get injured?
He got injured.
He got injured in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So you know what? Dak has 3 and Carson has 0.
Yeah. Also, like, would you say that the Cowboys' offense is centered around the run or the pass? Because Mike McCarthy could not develop the run in Green Bay. Like we saw with Eddie Lacy, he couldn't develop the run with it.
Right. I feel like it should be centered more around the run, but also like in 2016 when Dak and Zeke were both rookies, like you saw Jason Garrett keep like running the ball every single time. Like you keep feeding Ezekiel Elliott, but the thing is, I feel like for any NFL running back, the problem after 4 or 5 years is that your body starts to take like a less of a beating. Like you can't absorb so much contact. So when it comes to our offense, we drafted I think Henry Ruggs the third, right? And
No.
oh, is that the Raiders?
CD Lamb.
Yeah.
CD Lamb. CD Lamb.
CD.
Oh yeah, we drafted CD. Sorry about that. So CD, and then we have a CD Lamb, and then we have Michael Gallup, and we have Amari Cooper. Is Jason Witten still our tight end? I'm
No,
not sure.
I don't think so.
He retired, I
Not
think.
sure.
Yeah.
No, he's on the Raiders.
Oh,
Oh,
he went to Raiders.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I just feel like when it comes to like we have like three really good wide receivers, so I feel like we need to like keep mixing it up. But I completely believe that when it's like when the game's on the line or when it's the fourth quarter, we should definitely try to lean into the run more than the pass. Like you have one of the best running backs in the game right there, and I know a lot of fantasy owners last year were very upset with Zeke because he barely got some like there were some games where he barely got any touches. But I look out for my fantasy homies, so I feel like you really need to you need to keep giving the ball to Zeke if it's when the game's on the line, because I feel like Zeke is almost right now, because of all the off the field stuff, he's almost like very underrated.
I mean, take Todd Gurley, for example, right? Like,
Yeah,
after 4 or 5 years, he was like Offensive Player of the Year, was he?
Yeah.
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 he
And then,
was.
like, after 4 or 5 years, he just kind of ran into so many injuries with his knees, and he couldn't run the ball as effectively as he did before. So I think the Cowboys should run more with Zeke at certain times, but
Yeah.
you can kind of understand their caution with him.
Right.
I think if you want to win as a team, you have to establish the run and be like a run-based team. Because if you can run the ball really well, then the play action game opens up and stuff like that opens up, and so the quarterback can be more effective, and the offense as a whole is more effective. And if you run the ball, then it pounds the defense. The defense gets tired, and then you can the pass game starts opening up more. So if you're a run-based team, especially with someone like the Cowboys who have Zeke and a really good O-line, I think they can win upwards of 12, 11 games next year.
I mean,
Stick with that formula.
Also,
And like, yeah, go ahead.
also
Sorry.
the Zeke is the primary running back for the Cowboys, but they don't forget Tony Pollard as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
he's pretty good, yeah.
So he's a good complementary piece to add in their offense.
The main
And
problem.
also,
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, sorry about that. And also, like, for Zeke, like Rohit was saying, the whole like play action, like on top of that, Zeke's also really good. Like he catches the ball really good out of the outfield. He I think has a 78% catch percentage. So like just knowing that, like I feel like we should definitely try to like establish a run game in order to like open up Dak Prescott as well. And also coming back to the fact that how Todd Gurley like slowed down. Like over the last 4 years, Zeke has been consistently like his yards per game has been going down from 109 to 98 to 95 to 85. So I feel like you definitely need to like keep him healthy for the playoffs, because that's when like the games matter more. So yeah.
I think the main problem for the Cowboys is their defense. Their defense, they're actually pretty talented, right? They just can't they can't stop anybody. So they need to fix that if they want to do anything.
I mean, they might go after Jamal Adams, as we said last episode, and like they drafted Trayvon Diggs to like potentially fill the void of Byron Jones. But Trayvon Diggs is raw.
Yeah.
We don't know if Jamal Adams will actually sign with the Cowboys.
Yeah. And I feel like they also I feel like their defense was really sometimes like it lost discipline. Like they just didn't like. I feel like they just need a coach like Mike McCarthy to like force them to do stuff, because even though they're talented, they're also really young. So just someone who's like a very defense savvy kind of coach. So I think they need that.
Yeah, but the thing is, Mike McCarthy, he didn't really have a great defense the last couple years he was in Green Bay. Like they spent a lot of picks on the defense, like cornerback Jair Alexander and like Clinton Dix from like 2013 or something. So they spent a lot of first round picks on defense, like Rashawn Gary with last year, but they didn't really pan out. So except for Paulie Jair Alexander, but so I don't think that Mike McCarthy's the best coach for the best defensive coach.
But I feel like also like the defensive coordinator, Mike Nolan, like he's very good with linebackers, and I feel like we have some of the best linebackers on our team in Jalen Smith and I forgot his first name, but Vanderash. Like we have
Leighton.
really
Leighton.
Okay. Yeah, so we have like really good linebackers. Like like last year watching Cowboys games, you could really see them like they understand the game really well. And now that you have you have a defensive coordinator who's very good with linebackers, I feel like that'll also help the other players on our defense because like most of the time the linebacker is probably like the brains of the defense. So now that you have you have a good defensive coordinator to like connect with these linebackers, you could definitely make an impact.
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at Mike McCarthy, I think the Cowboys are banking on creating like a really good offense. Like if Dak can develop like into close to like an all-star or like a continual like Pro Bowl player, then I think their offense could be like second to the Chiefs because they have so many weapons. They have one of the best running backs, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and if Dak Prescott can just develop under Mike McCarthy, I think the Cowboys could make the playoffs for the next couple of years.
Yeah, and win the Super Bowl. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, so this wraps up our discussion for Dak Prescott and our podcast. So see you next time on Gridiron Headliners.
It's not a game, it's a